4th December 2021 Morning Murli Om Shanti BapDada Madhuban. Sweet children, body consciousness makes you very unhappy. Therefore, become soul conscious. By becoming soul conscious, your burden of sins will end. Question: on what basis do you receive a position of wealth in the golden age? Answer: you became wealthy on the basis of imbibing knowledge. However much wealth of knowledge someone imbibes and then donates, he accordingly receives a wealthy status and becomes ever wealthy. Study this study and also teach others. In order to become a world emperor, do a lot of royal service, remove all defects, become fully soul conscious, remember the Father with great patience, depth and sincerity. Song: have patience, O mind, your days of happiness are about to come. Om Shanti. Who said this? The Father said, have patience, to the children. He didn't say this to the whole world. Although all are children, not all of them are sitting here. Only you children know that this land of sorrow truly is changing. We are studying for the land of happiness, that is, we are following Srimad. Your children are given patience. In fact, the whole world is receiving patience in an incognito way. You understand that you are listening directly. Not everyone listens in this way. He is the unlimited Father, the unlimited remover of sorrow and bestower of happiness. He removes your sorrow and shows you the path to happiness. When you have happiness, there can be no name or trace of sorrow. The world of happiness is called the Golden Age, and the world of sorrow is called the Iron Age. Only you children know that there is full happiness in the Golden Age, and that is also 16 celestial degrees full. Just as the moon became 16 celestial degrees full, the degrees then gradually decrease until the day of Amavas, when just a thin crescent-shaped line is left. It then becomes completely dark. When you are 16 celestial degrees full, there is full happiness. In the Iron Age, they are devoid of the 16 degrees, and so there is sorrow. The whole world is eclipsed by the eclipse of Maya. This is why the Father says, first of all, renounce the body consciousness that you have in you. That body consciousness causes you a lot of sorrow. Remain soul conscious and you will also be able to remember the Father. By remaining body conscious, you are unable to remember the Father. That body consciousness lasts for half the cycle. By becoming soul conscious in this last birth, firstly, your burden of sins will end, and you will then also become 16 celestial degrees Satupradhan. Many don't understand this aspect of body consciousness. It is only body consciousness that makes human beings unhappy. All the other vices follow. When you become soul conscious, all the vices will be renounced. It is difficult to renounce them otherwise. The practice of body consciousness has become so firm that no one considers himself to be a soul. Conscious means a soul. All the vices have to be donated, and thus, first of all, renounce body consciousness. Lust, anger, etc. come afterwards. That one is your Father. Because of body consciousness, you have been considering your physical fathers alone to be your fathers. Now, the main thing is how to become pure. In the impure world, all are impure. No one can be pure. Only the one Father purifies you all and takes you back home in great happiness. You children are now concerned about having yoga. You have to die alive. To break body consciousness means to die. We souls remember Baba and became pure from impure. Baba alone taught you the way to become pure. He is now explaining it to you once again. He will explain it to you again every cycle. No one in the world can explain it. The main thing is to remember Shiv. That too, when you hear this through the PKs, because you are to receive the grandfather's inheritance. So this father through whom you receive it is definitely required. You definitely have to receive directions through this corporeal one. Many children think that they will have yoga with shivbaba and forget Brahma, but how would you hear shivbaba? They say we don't have any connection with Brahma Baba. Alright, consider yourselves to be souls and remember shivbaba. Go home and sit there, but how would you receive this knowledge of the world cycle? How would you be able to remember Baba without understanding this? Knowledge has to be received through this one alone. You won't receive knowledge again. You receive new points through the Father every day. How would you be able to understand anything without Brahma and the Brahma Kumaris? All of this has to be learned. The Father says it is possible that those who sit at home and make effort to attain their karmatit stage would go into liberation. They cannot go into liberation in life. If you imbibe the wealth of knowledge and donate it, you become wealthy. How else would you become ever wealthy? You definitely do have to take the support of the Murli. You have to study it. Many will come who will just receive their aim and go into liberation. Explain to all human beings, simply remember the Father and you will become pure and Satopradhan. Then, when you take the wealth of knowledge, you will become wealthy in the golden age. Otherwise, you will go into liberation and then come down at the time of the path of devotion and perform devotion. You won't be able to benefit anyone because human beings definitely need knowledge in order to become deities. After listening to this knowledge, you also have to relate it to others. Look how much you beat your heads at the exhibitions. In spite of that, it doesn't sit in anyone's intellect. A soul is such a tiny point. Every soul has received his or her own part. You know this at this time. All human beings are actors. Thus play is predestined. There also has to be the destruction of the old world. It is remembered that Ram went and Ravan went. No matter who goes, you children cannot experience sorrow. You know that this drama is predestined. Everyone is to be destroyed. Kings, queens, sages, holy men, etc. will all die. So, who would collect their ashes? They do all of that just to glorify someone's name. Neither is there any benefit in that, nor do those departed souls receive happiness. On the path of devotion, whatever people do, it is without understanding. The Father is now making you so sensible. Constantly look at those pictures and think about what Baba is making you into by teaching you. However, if it is not in someone's fortune, he doesn't put it into practice. Baba explains a great deal, but it needs to be put into practice. After becoming the Father's children, can you not do service? The Father is the benefactor. Some children continue to cause loss for many others. They disregard the feelings of those who have a few pure feelings for this university. Such ones perform such sinful actions. There is the interference of evil spirits. This is why it is remembered. Those who defame the Sadguru cannot reach their destination. Both Bap and Dada are included in this. No one can do anything to the incorporeal one. What would they say to him? On the path of devotion, they say God causes sorrow. It is due to ignorance that they believe that your children now know how much you rejected the Father under the influence of ignorance. There is no one who can make those who are Tamapradhan become Satopradhan. Instead, they gave wrong directions, saying that God is omnipresent. People are so confused. This is why they ask, how can God enter the body of Brahma? Then whose body would he enter? Would he enter the body of Krishna? How would there then be Brahma Kumars and Kumaris? They would then become deity Kumars and Kumaris. It would definitely be the Brahma Kumars and Kumaris who became Brahmins. Baba cannot do anything without Brahmins. That is why this one's picture definitely has to be placed here. This Brahma is also a Brahmin. Prajapita Brahma is needed in Bharat. Day by day, while sitting at home, many continue to receive visions of Brahma. There will continue to be growth. Those who have it in their parts will come running here. Many people believe that God definitely exists in some form. No one apart from the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, can grant visions. Shivbaba carries out establishment through Brahma. He gives knowledge and also creates the Brahmin religion. The religion of Brahmins is definitely needed. That is the highest of all. Prajapita Brahma is very high. He is said to be next to God. There isn't anyone else in the subtle region. There would just be establishment through Brahma, and that's all. Brahma then becomes a deity. Then after 84 births, he becomes Brahma once again. Brahma and Saraswati then became Lakshmi and Narayan. The prince and princess of knowledge then became the prince and princess. How Brahma becomes Vishnu and how Vishnu becomes Brahma is a very first class point. You can explain it very well. This knowledge is received from the one Father. Explain very well at the exhibitions. Why do you become confused about Brahma? There are so many Brahmins. Only when someone first becomes a Brahmin can he then become a deity, a master of the land of Vishnu. The day of Brahma and the night of Brahma are well known. It is now the night. Sit in front of such pictures and practice explaining. Those who want to do service will have no thoughts of anything but doing service. They will run to do service. The knowledge should be bubbling in your intellects. Only when your aprons are very full will you have that enthusiasm. You will run to do service. It is impossible for you to have knowledge and to be unable to explain it. Why then do you take knowledge? If you take knowledge, you also have to donate it. If you don't donate it and you cannot make others the same as yourselves, what sort of Brahmins are you? Third grade? This is the business of first grade Brahmins. Baba explains to you children every day. Some children continue to do service, whereas others also do this service. If you are unable to do service, you would definitely be doing disservice. Wherever good children go, they definitely do service. When the knowledge is given fully, the special children do not make any mistakes. Only then would they become beads of the rosary. The 8 beads are the main ones. The examination is very important. It is always very few who pass an important examination because the government then has to employ them. Baba has to make you into the masters of the world, and this is why only a few pass. There would be hundreds of thousands of subjects. This is why Baba asks you, will you become an emperor or a wealthy subject, or will you become poor? Speak what you will become. Emperors have many maids and servants who are then given as part of the dowry. Make effort to claim a good status. Become so clever that everyone invites you. They generally do call someone. You know this, do you not? Those who don't have those qualifications are never invited by anyone. However, they themselves wouldn't know that they are third class. Some are serviceable. They continue to run everywhere to do service. They don't even think about their work but run to do service. Some don't do service even though they don't have a job. They don't have that interest. Either it's not in their fortune or they have an eclipse of bad omens. There is a lot of service to be done and it does require some effort. Some even became tired while explaining to others. Their throats became dry. In fact, even the throats of those who are third class dry up. This doesn't mean that they did very good service. Baba knows who does very good royal service. However, many have defects. They continue to get trapped in someone's name and form. They are then reformed by being given guidance. Never get trapped in anyone's name and form. Become soul conscious. A soul is a tiny point. The Father too is a point. It takes a lot of effort to consider yourselves to be a tiny point and to remember Baba. Superficially, they say, shivbaba, I remember you a great deal. However, there has to be accurate remembrance in your intellects. You have to remember him with great patience, depth, and sincerity. Hardly anyone remembers Baba in this way. It requires a lot of effort. Acha, to the sweetest, beloved, long lost, and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, the father, BapDada. The spiritual father says, Namaste to the spiritual children. The spiritual children says, Namaste and good morning to the spiritual father. Essence for the dharana. First point, fill your apron with the jewels of knowledge and donate them. Remain busy in this business and become a first-class Brahmin. Second point, you are the children of the benefactor father and you must therefore benefit everyone. Don't perform a wrong task by rejecting anyone's pure feelings or by giving wrong directions. Blessing, may you be an immortal image and gain victory over all adverse situations with this means of making spiritual progress. Explanation, just as you adopt many means for the livelihood of your body, in the same way, also adopt this means for making spiritual progress. Practice being constantly stable as an immortal image. Those who move along considering themselves to be images of immortality means souls are saved from untimely death and all problems. In order to remove mental worries and stressful situations, simply continue to erase any awareness of your old body. Slogan, when you repeatedly feel something, you feel the final paper. Om Shanti